What's the easiest way to tell if first and second ladies don't talk much? Their mismatched outfits on special occasions. Duh.
Somebody did not get the memo.
As anyone who watched the inauguration festivities in January knows, Usha Vance and Melania Trump's ensembles couldn't have been more different. Where Melania went for an elevated if severe black and white palette for both the inauguration itself and the ball that followed, Usha went the fairy tale princess route, with a pink coat, dress, and scarf combo for the former, and a sparkly blue number for the latter. There's no question that both ladies looked stunning, but it's also plain to see that there was little to no coordination between the two ahead of time. What's more, with Ivanka Trump also wearing a black and white inaugural ball gown, Usha's blue gown stood out even more. Plus, given the fact that Vance had worn a head-turning black dress for the vice president's dinner just days prior, it's not surprising that there were questions as to why there was such a stark difference. After all, it's not as though she didn't have something hanging in her closet that might have aligned more with the Trumps' picks. That being said, there's also a chance Usha simply wanted to wear the blue dress for the inaugural ball, and we can't fault her for that. Like we said, it gave off major fairy tale princess vibes. It's also worth noting that Usha wasn't the only one to deviate from Melania's getup. Both Tiffany Trump and Lara Trump also donned looks that didn't quite match up with those of the First Lady, both at the ceremony and the ball later on. With that in mind, it's possible that only Melania and Ivanka coordinated their fits. Not only did they match, but their outfits were also mulled over for their symbolism. The black detailing on Melania's dress, for one, was thought to have been an ode to her husband's Sharpie signature. Ivanka's gown, meanwhile, paid tribute to Audrey Hepburn, an icon who couldn't be more different than Donald Trump, thanks to her focus on humanitarianism in the later years of her life.
Let's drink to that.
Many think this was Ivanka's way of sending a message about her own humanitarian efforts. As for Usha, there just wasn't much to say about her Reem Acra gown. On Instagram, the designer herself simply noted that it was intended to highlight a true vision of grace and style on this monumental evening. In light of just how private Vance seems to be, we guess that's fitting. It wouldn't be like her to stir up controversy in this sort of way. Seriously though, we have to admit that outfit coordination between first and second ladies has never really seemed to be a thing. For instance, look at how differently Laura Bush and Lynn Cheney were dressed for the inauguration ceremony in 2001. It was almost the same sort of mismatch as Usha and Melania, with Laura wearing robin egg blue while Lynn stuck with a muted taupe. For Barack Obama's inauguration in 2009, Michelle Obama and Jill Biden stood in stark contrast to each other as well. While Michelle rocked a yellow wool lace dress and overcoat, Jill opted for something a bit simpler and bright red. And in 2021, Jill and Vice President Kamala Harris were somewhat coordinated, but this was probably a happy accident instead of intentional. But anyway, we digress. When it comes to the noticeable differences between Usha and Melania's personal styles, only time will tell if they'll ever wear better coordinated looks. Given that both women are notoriously private and hard to read, we wouldn't hold our breath, nor are we expecting to hear if the first and second ladies are bonding in their downtime.